Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd. So today we're going to open up the Rock and we're going to check him out. We're going to do some head replacement maybe at this figure here, because I think it looks more like the Rock's face. We'll see how it fits on there. And then we'll do some customs of mixing some figures together, this Super 7 and this new Classics He-Man, to see how it works. And then we'll mix the Rock and this Filmation He-Man and see how he looks. This is the one from Mattel. So let's go ahead and open the Rock up first. And I'm going to go ahead and just get this guy ready. So I'm going to soak his head in the hot water first, right over there, because I know it's going to take the longest for soaking. So I'm going to go ahead and start that soaking process so I can get his head off later easier. There's the Rock soaking in the water. And let's go ahead and open this up. So, the Rock. Now, it's kind of cool. I found him out in the wild at Walmart. I did not pay eBay prices for him, so that was awesome. I didn't pay the extra absorbent Walmart prices of second-party sellers. I actually got him for under $15. So I was pretty happy about that. So, he comes with a comic. And again, it's just an open leaflet. Kind of cool. Wow, he does look pretty cool. And it shows some other figures in the line as well. Oh, I should show you the back of the line too. It shows he has a weapon like Man-at-Arms. And let's see, twist power battle positions. So I guess just twist him around to do different things. It looks like he has some cool blue lightning that could be used for all kinds of things. The nice part with this figure is he has two closed hands, so you can do more weapons and stuff with him. And he does have a rubber band holding his hands in, so let's go ahead and pull that off. He's got one on his legs too. All right. So there is the Rock. And here's his accessories. He's got his belt, his lightning, and his cool thing like Man-at-Arms. This is interesting. Besides this being bent, which is not good, it's actually one from the Classics, not from the Origins. Take a look. Here's the Origins one, and then there's the one from the Classics. So you can see they actually use the classic parts for the wrestling figures. Interesting. Oh, Man-at-Arms almost dropped his gun there. Oh, he did drop it. Come on, Man-at-Arms. Hang on to it. Ugh. All right. Oh, well. Let's continue on. So, the Rock. I'm going to go and toss this in the water too to straighten it out. Whenever you have bent weapons, you just toss them in hot water, and eventually they'll straighten out. And let's see. So, let's go and talk about his articulation. He's got ankle articulation, boot cut, knee joints. He has the knee pads. He has the upper leg, the waist turn, and shoulders. No bicep cut. Elbow and twist at the elbows. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get these guys to bend their elbows when you first open them. And then, of course, the wrist has all kinds of articulation, but not up and down to hold the sword aloft, which is okay. And then, of course, his head moves, and his head comes off for cool, easy customizing. As well as other parts of his body, too. You can rip him in half. You can pull his arm off. You can do all kinds of things to make some great, easy customs. And he has his armor. And his armor is removable, just like He-Man's armor, with the one square in the back. And he's got his belt. Oh, that's cool. Look, it's got the swords on there. And then the WWE symbol. That's kind of fun. Let's see how that fits. And it's got quite the attaching on the back there. We got 4 holes that line up to really hook that on there so one doesn't come off, which is good because it's got a lot of force to hold it on. Alright, so many of you guys know I complained about his head when I first saw it online. So that's why I saved my Rock figure from the Ghostbusters line. And let's go ahead and do a head swap. and see how this looks on there. Ugh. Much better. That looks way more like The Rock now. Look at the difference. Way cooler. So, I would suggest if you're going to customize The Rock, get one of the old wrestling figures to get a better head. We'll just pop his head on there. Alright, so let's go ahead and set this Rock aside, because we are done with him. And oh, let's pull his club out of the water. And you can see it just straightens it right up by putting it in that hot water. Now while it's cooling, make sure you keep it straight that whole time. But you can see that's how you fix your bent weapons. And let's go ahead and customize this Rock. So before I customize the Rock, I had a request to take the Super 7 He-Man and mix him with the Classics He-Man, or Origins He-Man. So let's go ahead and do that now. So let's pull his head off and see if it fits on there. And it does not. I'm going to have to heat it up. The skin color is quite different though. So I'm going to toss the head in the water. They also wanted the Super 7 armor on there as well. So let's pull this armor off. And, oh, that's right, I forgot. Super 7 likes to glue all their stuff together. So this armor does not come off very easily. You have to almost stretch it around. So you want to put the arms up over his head, tuck the shoulders in as tight as you can, and then carefully try to work this armor off. You know what? Sorry, man, I'm not going to put the armor on. I don't want to stretch mine out. But you guys get the idea. So he does not get the new armor. And the boots then, these are actually Man-at-Arms boots right here that I used on my other He-Man. They wanted the Man-at-Arms boots on there. So let me go ahead and pull these off. Oh. Now at first they wanted Prince Adam's boots from the 2-pack that came with San Diego Comic-Con, but I didn't want to. I don't have any available here to show, but these boots are so close to those that will work better, or work well anyway. And the Man-at-Arms is a whole lot cheaper to purchase than the San Diego Comic-Con, because you know the Comic-Con's now going for hundreds of dollars. And there we go. It does kind of sit on there low on his shoulders, so you may want to use an O-ring just to pop it up a little bit. So we just set an O-ring up on top, or you can put it in the head first if you want to, and then just pop that on there, and it causes the head just to sit a little bit higher. Still kind of low though. Maybe you have to use 2 for that, but you guys get the idea. And then, of course, you would stick on the armor on there as well. The skin color for me doesn't match close enough. It may look okay in the camera, but in real life you can see it's quite a bit different in tone. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to mix him and him and him to make a Filmation one. So first things first, let's get these elbow pads off. I'm going to stick them in hot water to get them off. Be a lot easier. And I also want to get these legs off too, and these boots as well. Ugh. It's the hard part sometimes, trying to get that out of the water. Sometimes takes a little bit of effort when you drop things in there. So let me get this out of there. Now the bad part is when you're heating up a lot of parts at once, sometimes your water will cool down pretty quick, so you have to be careful of that. So let's get these elbow pads off here. Now the Rock also does have one tattoo on his arm. I'm going to try to use some alcohol to clean that off. Being he's going to be my Filmation He-Man now. We'll see if that works. I got 99% alcohol here. I'll just scrub that on there and see if we can get that tattoo off. I may have to use acetone. I'll do that off camera if I do, because it can melt the plastic way too quick. I imagine if I soak this in the alcohol for a while, it'd probably come off. Because it's starting to come off a little bit. If you can get away with not using acetone, just use alcohol. But if you can't, sometimes you may have to go with something stronger. If I was to spend more time and keep scrubbing this, I probably could get it all off. But I am thinking when it stops, so you guys aren't stuck watching me sit here and scrub this. I'll probably take a Q-tip and cut it in half and use the cardboard Q-tip to get way deep in those grooves. But you guys get the idea. You can see how it took off most of it just inside the grooves. It's kind of stuck, and I'll have to get, like I said, a cardboard Q-tip to get that out of there. I'll do that later though, so you guys aren't sitting here watching me do it. And now I'm going to soak this head so I don't ruin it. Let's get his legs out of there. And you can see I got He-Man soaking in there now. And let's go ahead and pull these legs off. There we go. Let's go ahead and soak He-Man's legs. Let's see if his head is pliable enough to get it off. Yep. Oh, but not pliable enough to put back on. Alright, with Mattel, their armor is actually separable. You can actually pull it apart, so that's nice. As opposed to the Super 7 where it's glued. So let's go ahead and stick this on there. It'd help if I put it on correctly, wouldn't it? Now the bad part is this armor only has one way to hook it up, and that is directly onto the figure. There's no changes. I've seen some other armors where you can actually adjust it, but luckily that fits pretty good, so that's not too bad. Alright, let's go ahead and pull the rest of this apart. I'm going to have to reheat these legs to get them to fit on there. Now the bad part is my water is cooling down really quick because I keep putting more parts that are cold in there. And being my water doesn't actually have a direct super hot heat source to reheat it. It has the small little thing at the bottom. It does take a while for it to reheat. Now if you do get these warm enough, you could pull the legs apart to get these off easier. So you could pull it apart and then pull off the kneecap way easier, or the knee pad. Alright, let's toss these in there. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to give my 2000X He-Man back his boots. which I really stole from Man-at-Arms. Someday they'll have some dark brown boots that I'll use on him. Just waiting for them to release a figure that has it, and then he'll get new boots anyway. Alright. Let's check those parts. Now the reason why I wanted to use the Rock for this is you can see that He-Man's head is a lot darker for the Filmation version. There we go. That fits nicely. So I had to go with a darker skin tone so it would match Filmation. Now the bad part is he has black around the tops of his legs. That part does kind of stink. But I can live with it. It's like he has black undies on underneath or something. There we go. I suppose I could carefully sand that off with some fine sandpaper like 400 grit or 800 grit sandpaper, but I think that's okay. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Just because I like to make it easy to put these on, I'm going to heat these up for a second. Alright, let's grab those out of there. Alright, there is my Filmation He-Man. Ta-da! And again, I wanted to use the Rock because the skin tone is darker and it matches better with what He-Man should look like. So there you guys go. So again, if you try to use the Super 7 with the regular He-Man, again, the skin tone does not match. The Super 7 one is closer to the Rock's colors too. So if you are going to use Super 7 to build this instead of Mattel's, you may want to grab the Rock to do it. Now his cuffs are a gold yellow, but I think it looks cool. I think that's a really cool fit for He-Man anyway. And you will end up with this black line around the legs. But again, you know, it's not super visible. It looks just almost like kind of some kind of weird shading thing, like he's wearing some kind of black undies underneath there, spandex shorts. And you could sand that off carefully if you wanted to with some 800 grit sandpaper. Alright, so what's left of the Rock? Not much. So I got his head left, and his boots, and his loincloth. And his other parts. Alright. Oh, and I did finish my Fisto, for those that didn't see. There he is. Night Ops Fisto. Night Ops Stealth Fisto. And can't wait till we get the real one. And I'm not going to paint him because he has purple on him already a little bit. So he's just going to be my Night Ops Fisto. So I went ahead and cleaned off the black. I just used some acetone, and I found it worked much better than trying to take alcohol. I used it very carefully with some toilet paper first to clean off the bulk of it, then used Q-tips to follow it up. There was one small spot I could not clean off though, and it's right here where the mold was poured, and you can see it on both legs if you pull it out. There it is right here on this one. Just that one small little black spot that I couldn't get off. But there you go. So there is my Filmation He-Man. Now, I was tempted to see if I could make a Filmation man or a Filmation Prince Adam as well, but I went and looked at the head they created from Super 7, and the skin is just way too different. It's a lot different. It's not going to work too well for that. But at least we got a really cool Filmation He-Man by using the Rock. And throw him up there on Battle Cat, because this Battle Cat is very Filmation-y too. And I got my Filmation Skeletor to go along with it. So there you go. Alright. Go ahead and post your comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're planning on using the Rock as well to make your Filmation He-Man. And again, you'll have to get the Rock. It depends on the boots you want. I'm fine with going the regular He-Man boots. So of course you're going to need to get yourself a He-Man as well to pull apart. And I would suggest using the Rock for the body, for everything. Now his head's stuck on there. Oh, I need to get that back off. And that's pretty much about it. Alright, you guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you guys next video.